Hi everyone, welcome back to Club UX. So, when you are new into the field of UX research and when you have joined your team, if they have planned to conduct a research or if you plan to come up with a research, then the first thing that you will be asked to do is to create a research proposal and share with the key stakeholders. But what does research proposal actually means? If we are new, then we can actually get caught up, and there is so much content available on the internet that we get confused. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is a research proposal, and I will give you a brief overview on it. This video will be follow up with another video where I will help you to create a research proposal. Practical steps with the help of one example. So let's start the video and let's understand what is a research proposal. So a research proposal is essentially a simple and structured formal document of your proposed research. And it includes, number one, your research objective. It includes what do you in fact even plan to conduct your research for. Your proposal needs to clearly articulate your research objective. It should make it clear exactly what you plan to conduct your research and in what context. So you need to include what's being investigated. You need to include who is it that the research involves. Who are the people with whom you are conducting your research? And you also need to include what do you aim to ultimately get through the research. Second point includes including the background. You need to essentially include the justification why you are conducting the research. In other words, what makes it unique? Are you conducting it? Is it that you conducted a research before and this research is a follow-up of another research? Or any issues have been encountered that led you to do a follow-up of that research study? Perhaps a previous study was conducted by you or any other previous UXR, and some usability issues were encountered. Perhaps you created some new mocks on those issues that were found. And now you want to conduct a study in order to understand the feedback of the users on those mocks. So basically, you have to include what happened earlier and how is it driving your research. So including the justification adds the value. And in the end, you also need to include what is your approach or how will you conduct the research. Based on the research objectives, you will include your research methods. So there are qualitative research method, quantitative research method, and then in those methods, it can be user interviews, FGIs, you might be doing concept testing, A/B testing. There are plenty of research methods available. But what is the research method that you are using? Maybe you're doing a mixed method research, which means that you might be doing user interviews or you might be doing concept testing, and then you might be following it up with a small survey. So include the research methods as well. And your research methods are highly dependent on the objectives of your research. You also need to include high-level research questions. It just gives a brief context of what are the research questions or what kind of questions you will be asking. Number of participants. Number of participants are also dependent on your research method. If you're doing qualitative research, then number of participants will be less than as compared to survey. Sometimes survey is in fact carried out with 200 to 300 participants. Sometimes you conduct your qualitative research with probably just 5 participants or 7 participants. So again, your research methods and number of the participants that you are including will be highly dependent on your research objectives. So clearly defining the research objectives is very important. It will take 2 weeks or 3 weeks to conduct the research or 1 month. And ultimately, including the cost is very important, because you have to share it with the stakeholders who are going to ultimately approve whether the budget is something which falls in their budget as well or not. So while these are the most important things, you also can include other things like deliverables. How are you going to ultimately present the findings from the research? any constraints, like will there be any time constraints, anything which is out of scope. And you might also have to include who are partnering up with you during the research, whether there are some fellow UXRs who will be partnering up, if any designer is there who's partnering up. Including the key members in the research proposal is also important. See, essentially what you're trying to do is selling the reason why, what makes this research study, conducting research study, is essential in the project. And after sharing the research proposal with your team, ask them to add any comments. Share with them through Google Docs or any other platform that you use, and always ask them to share their comments, so that it will help you to further understand what is it that they are ultimately trying to achieve, whether the research proposal even makes sense to them. Including the research proposal with all the key stakeholders in the beginning, before even in fact starting the research, is very important. Sometimes it happens that engineer might be looking for something else from the research. However, product manager might be looking to get something else from the research, or designer might be looking out for something else from the research. So including the perspective of all the team members in the research proposal is important, so that it gives them the clue that their asks are being included. Or otherwise, what will happen after you have shared your insights, the team will be like, yeah, that's good, but what I really wanted to know is not this, I wanted to know this. So whether it's on the budget, whether it's on the sample size, whether it's on the questions, whether it's on the research methods that you're using, including all the key stakeholders as a part of your research proposal is very important. Whether you are conducting the research for the first time, whenever you are doing the research, it's a follow-up research, whether you're doing concept testing, A/B testing, always start by creating a research proposal and share it with the stakeholders. So guys, I hope that you found this video informative. Stay tuned for the next video, where we are going to do a practical exercise on designing a research proposal. I hope that you found this video informative. If you did, then please make sure that you give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned. The next video is coming up.